Love is Blind Season 7 is back with 3 new episodes that will leave you shocked, angry, and maybe even a little grossed out. Imagine this, finally understanding what's worse, stepping on a Lego barefoot or enduring hours of labor. Now that's a debate settled. In episodes 7 through 9, we move from the honeymoon phase in Mexico back to the real world in Washington, D.C. The couples are about to face real-life challenges. But first we have to see what happens between Alex and Tim after their heated argument. Will they patch things up, or is this the beginning of the end? Stay tuned. I'm more than willing to keep exploring this, Alex says.
I am more than willing to keep exploring this.
Even though she knows Tim came into the conversation ready to end things, now he wants to keep talking, which gives her some hope that things are moving in the right direction. But from the look on her face, she's not convinced just yet.
Knowing that he came in today, that he had every intention of this being the last conversation, and now he wants to have another conversation, gives me the optimism that it's going in the right direction.
While their story is far from over, let's not forget about Steven and Monica. They left things with a small argument, but what's coming next will take their relationship from minor annoyances to full-blown disaster mode. Things are about to get messy, weird, and intense in a way you won't see coming. It starts with Steven saying,
"There is something that's been kind of weighing on me and bothering me. I just want to address it."
Monica, remembering what he told her earlier, says,
"Pod, I remember you specifically telling me, we're together, I'm gonna get you flowers."
But Steven, trying to backtrack, replies,
I was using that as a concept.
Things are busy, and it doesn't seem like a big deal. But then Steven drops a bomb, admitting he feels anxious about the whole situation, saying,
Such a massive decision, and I just don't want to feel forced into doing something.
Monica, totally confused, fires back. That's what you signed up for. The confusion only grows, with Steven adding, I'm so confused.
I'm so confused that you're
No.
saying this right now.
I know. No, I'm
literally, I'm so confused.
At this point, things are getting weird. Maybe Steven's just terrible at communicating, or maybe he's feeling overwhelmed. Either way, if we're at a 4 or 5 on the weird scale, it's about to spike to an 8 real quick. When the couples meet up again in Mexico, Steven is in rare form. He skips out on watching fireworks with Monica to have a deep talk with Garrett, leaving her feeling isolated. Steven then explains that Garrett needed to discuss something important, and he starts rambling about how being solid with your partner is key because, as he puts it,
you have this spotlight on you. And for a lot of guys, there are women that are homewreckers out there that are I don't give a what.
That's the cleaned up version. Steven was far more explicit. Yikes. This comment leaves everyone confused, with people wondering what on earth is going on. Steven continues,
You will be tempted in a situation that you've never been tempted before. You're going to eventually have people confronting you. People that know you.
Is Steven just being eccentric, or is he projecting his own thoughts onto everyone else? It feels like we're getting a glimpse into his mind, and it's not a pleasant sight, but the real world is calling, and now the couples are about to face the challenges that come with DMs from strangers, and confrontations from people who think they know their every move. As we move into the next phase, where the couples start living together and meeting each other's families, we're about to learn a lot more about them, possibly more than we ever wanted to. Tim and Alex. Tim gives a masterclass on how to woo the parents of a significant other, and it all unfolds in episode 8. After Tim and Alex had spent some time together and even moved in, it was finally time for Tim to meet Alex's family, which she was pretty nervous about. Alex hadn't told her dad, Mr. Bird, that they were living together, so she wasn't sure how he'd take the whole situation. Would he approve, or would things get awkward? Enter Tim, who's clearly prepared for this moment. He didn't just show up empty-handed. No, he had something even more powerful, food and a letter. And not just any letter, but one he wrote while proposing to Alex, specifically asking her father for her hand in marriage. Talk about planning ahead. During a family lunch, Tim casually asked Mr. Bird if they could have a private chat. Now you can imagine the tension. Mr. Bird is about to find out just how serious this relationship is. Tim, however, remains cool as a cucumber. He pulls out the letter and reads it aloud, telling Mr. Bird how much he loves Alex, how important family is to him, and why he wants to marry her. And that's when the magic happens. Mr. Bird, who is usually a tough nut to crack, starts tearing up. He's clearly overwhelmed by the gesture and can barely hold back his emotions. Tim's words hit him right in the feels, and after gathering his thoughts, Mr. Bird says,
We just met, but I believe in you. I accept you as my son.
She is my baby girl, and we just met, but I believe in you. I believe what you have written, and I accept you as my son. Boom, Tim nailed it. Hannah and Nick D back in DC. Nick and Hannah take a trip to Vienna to visit the Dorcas. Like Taylor, Nick also lives in a basement, specifically his parents' basement. Classy move, right? He even breaks out his Nick Dorca Rice Properties Group business cards for Hannah, as if that's going to magically scream grown up. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Hannah, not convinced Nick is actually adulting, sits him down for a talk about finances. The convo goes so smoothly that at one point, Hannah literally has to ask him, do you even know what stocks are? And to top it off, Nick can't even boil a pot of pasta. I've done it once, he says. Yike.
You just heat it to a boil. You know how to boil pasta, right?
I've done it once.
You've only boiled pasta once?
Next up, meeting Hannah's family. First, Hannah's brother Cade shows up. Then they head to a restaurant to meet the rest of her family, followed by another stop at the Dorca household. Hannah gifts his mom a pineapple dip dish, and suddenly I'm noticing pineapples everywhere. In the kitchen, on the deck, on the napkin holder. At this point, I'm too busy counting pineapples to focus on the conversation. Are they swingers, or is it just hospitality vibes? I'll let you decide, reader. It's pretty obvious these two aren't cut out for marriage yet, and watching the inevitable buildup to what's bound to be a dramatic altar scene is like waiting for a train wreck in slow motion. They bicker constantly about chores, and honestly, if I wanted to hear non-stop arguments about who's doing the dishes, I'd just tie the knot myself. Hannah's frustration with Nick is growing by the minute, and let's be real, Nick should probably master boiling pasta before even thinking about saying I do. Monica and Steven, cue the messiest drama yet. Steven somehow decides it's a good idea to get drunk before taking a sleep test. And then, for reasons only he knows, he texts someone messages filled with fetishes, according to Monica. Yeah, no amount of flowers or even a YSL purse is going to fix this one. And just like that, we have our first breakup of the season.
Reading those text messages filled with fetishes and coming in, like, it's disgusting, Steven.
You're right.
But before Steven, who also managed to lose his job this week, makes his final exit, Monica has one last request. I would like you to Venmo me the money you owe me for carrying your weight the last couple of days. She says, adding the ultimate kicker.
Fucking lie to my face. Were you guys texting today?
No,
You weren't texting today. Okay, let me see your phone.
I deleted the message.
Of course you did.
Here's hoping she uses that Venmo cash to treat herself to some well-deserved flowers. Marissa and Ramsey. In Mexico, Ramses and Marissa go on a boat date, a perfect metaphor for their sinking relationship. The first crack in the ship shows up back in DC over dinner. Marissa shares her pride in her military service, but says she doesn't support the military's actions overseas. Ramses is not impressed, giving her an anti-imperialist stare. He reminds her people sign up for this, but she counters that they don't sign up to eliminate. His response? What do you think the weapons are for? Marissa, call me naive.
I always stand with like people who are on the under the hammer of like U.S. imperialism. I feel.
We also learned 3 things about Marissa. She's a former Mormon, Barbie made her reject the patriarchy, and she commutes to Baltimore, meaning they'd need to move there. Cue more tension. Next, Ramses meets Marissa's friends at a bar decked out in Halloween decor, fitting for this spooky conversation. Ramses says if she re-enlists, it's grounds for divorce. Your politics are tied to your ethics, he declares. They're clearly at a standstill. Then comes the meeting with Marissa's mom, Vanessa, who greets the couple with, "You guys look like siblings, it's kind of weird." After roasting Ramses' style, El DeBarge, 80s breakdancer, Vanessa brings up the need for a prenup. Ramses agrees, but Marissa is unsure. Vanessa also says she doesn't believe in forever and warns Ramses about hurting her daughter. Military service, prenup. Issues keep piling up, but maybe they can lean on their chemistry in the bedroom. Not so fast. Marissa wants Ramses to use protection since she doesn't want to go back on birth control.
It's not really enjoyable, baby.
I'm not gonna go on birth control.
We need to do what we need to do, but I need the sex to be enjoyable.
Mr. Progressive is sounding more like a boomer from the free love era by making it clear that he's not interested in that, saying, "It's not really enjoyable, baby." Marissa likely thinking, "Yeah, neither is an IUD." Taylor and Garrett. Now for some much needed normalcy. After returning home, Taylor and Garrett head to his hometown of Fredericksburg. On the way, they chat about Taylor's love for city life. "You're a DC girl," Garrett says to his San Diego transplant fiance. Once they arrive, his mom voices concerns about how fast things are moving between them, but no need to worry. They reassure her with the ultimate relationship foundation. "We both love science." Even though the couple is currently living in the Rixey apartment building in Arlington with the other cast members, Taylor takes Garrett to her row house in Shaw. As they talk, Garrett reveals he's never really lived anywhere other than Fredericksburg, except for last summer when he was in Virginia Beach. In the pods, they both seemed thrilled about moving to San Diego, but now Garrett mentions that his family would be disappointed if he left. Taylor reassures him that they'd come back to DC frequently. Because I do federal affairs, she explains, I have to come to DC. The San Diego conversation comes up again during a date at what looks like Ciel's social club in Mount Vernon Triangle, but the vibes stay positive as they head off to meet her friends. So far, I'm still feeling great about this couple. The family's concerns seem natural given how they met, and Taylor's friends think she's genuinely happy. But let's be real, San Diego is no Fredericksburg, so we'll see how this plays out. Ashley and Tyler seem to be riding the love train, all smooth sailing until bam, the last 5 minutes of episode 9 throw us a curveball. If you're part of the Love is Blind sleuthing squad on TikTok or Reddit, guilty as charged. You probably heard the rumors. Tyler might be a father of 3, so what's the deal? Tyler reveals that he donated his man juice to a couple he knows, and they went on to have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy.
According to him, he's not their father, just the friendly neighborhood baby donor. But here's the kicker. Tyler never mentioned this little detail to Ashley, even after all their talks about having kids. And she is understandably not happy. I mean, finding out your fiance has biological kids he didn't mention is kind of a big deal. For most people, this would definitely be a deal breaker. And Ashley's reaction makes total sense. Who could blame her for being upset? Chime in the comment section and tell us what you think about episodes 7 through 9. And subscribe to the channel to get the tea on season 7 of Love is Blind.